What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the next video. Like I said, I was going to be releasing videos every Saturday and Tuesday of every week. So I will be sticking to the schedule strictly as possible. But welcome back to episode number 4, part 1. This is going to be topping at Yuma. Realistically, it should take anywhere from 2 to 3 parts. Just because I might be posting for this series or for these parts 1 to 2 times per week instead of the full 2 times, but we'll be seeing regardless. So starting off, I remember last video I mentioned I would be taking Colin Biker Fiendsmith, maybe Radiant Typhoon, to Yuma, the regional in Arizona. I was going to playtest it today, as a matter of fact, at locals, just because I know my locals always gets a little competitive with the people that tend to go. And I didn't have the cards I needed. I'm missing 1 Requiem to be able to play the Fiendsmith cards. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to play the deck that I wanted to play. I was able to play my second option, which I'm not sure if I mentioned it, was Yummy. So my second option isn't just pure Yummy, it's actually Yummy Fiendsmith Azamina, but I'm more so leaning towards the Yummy Fiendsmith variant of the deck, just because I kind of like the hand traps the deck originally has. The Fulos, Perulia, Purge, they all seem pretty strong. I'm not running them on the list I took today to locals, just because I kind of rushed real quick to get it and I ran out of sleeves. But for the most part, I did end up going 2-1. Game 1 was against Wyatt, who I think is the best player at my locals. But luckily enough, he bricked, not necessarily all 3 games. Round 1 of the first match, it was he was definitely Yummy, Azamina, and Fiendsmith, the best deck in the format basically. I believe he bricked game 1. I'm sorry, I know it just happened, but it is 1:40 in the morning, trying to get everything done at night. But for the most part, game 1 he bricked. I went first. I was able to take the game pretty easy from there. Had enough interactions on the board and enough hand traps in my hand to really make the pure Yummy stand out. Then game 2, he went first. I had no hand traps, it was all engine. I was going up against the Ilya Silva, Caesar, and full Yummy board, so it was pretty rough for me. I had to scoop. Game 3, we both bricked on hand traps, so it was really hard. Each time we had a starter, we just canceled each other out pretty hard, until finally I'm the one that got the last starter, but while he was out of hand traps. So I was able to take game 3 pretty easy as well. We ran it back again after locals was done, and I was able to go 2-0. Again, it was just mainly hand advantage. I was able to get 4 hand traps, 1 starter, which kind of what the deck does best. But for the most part, definitely something to keep looking into with this list. I'll be showing it at the end of the video. But game 2 was against Heroes. Sorry, I know Ryan is who I played against. Ryan likes to watch these videos sometimes. I apologize, man, but it took like 5 to 10 minutes. There's really not much to say. Game 1, hand traps, killed. And I also got to go first, so big bonus. Game 2, hand traps, and then I opened Obedience School, and that's that. So game 2 was barely anything, or round 2 was barely anything. So finally, the last round of the day, because it was a 3-round locals today, unfortunately, was against Joseph, who does watch these videos for sure, and he was playing Enneacraft, which is amazing. So the card of the day is, I might be doing card of the day or card of the video. I'm gonna put it right here. Card of the day is Pixia, which says you can't target cards, or when you attempt to target a card, it ends up being negated as a result. So I didn't really understand the Enneacraft cards. I ended up losing pretty hard. I mean, there's nothing really else to say, right? But definitely I will be considering ways to play into Enneacraft more, since I'll be going to a regional level, and I'm quite sure it's a popular rogue deck. So I'll have to prep for it in some way at least. So I'm pretty excited for Yuma overall, and I'm pretty excited to see what decks I'll be going up against. But like I said last video, I'm trying my best not to yap too much unless it's something important. For the most part, the deck list was pretty standard to what we used to play before Yummy got hit, before the last ban list. So it's super standard. I'm running the Period Rice map, Pot of Prosperity, Sky Striker Engage with just the Hornet Drones and one Kagari. And then everything else I feel like is pretty standard aside from the, Snatchy to 1. So I think it did pretty good for today. I think it did a lot better than Goblin Bikers would have done, just because every card in this deck is a one card starter. Especially if you're playing the pure version, since you don't have such a tight extra deck like the other versions do. So you're able to run Amaraj, Link Spider, Link Rebo, etc. So it's pretty good. And before I keep yapping, let's get straight into the deck list, and hopefully you guys get to see kind of the heat I was running today. So let's check it out. Boom! Alright guys, so getting into the deck list, like I mentioned before, it is honestly incredibly standard. We are running 3 of every single yummy name, so that's going to be the 3 Cup C, the 3 Marshmallow, which in my opinion, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if it's better than Cup C for starters. Just because the Zuna is still flying around, but at least at a local level, I do like starting off with the Yummy effective special from hand. So I think that's pretty cool. Super great card, of course. And we have the 3 Cookie and the 3 Lollipop. So that's the lineup for the Yummy monsters. And then for the Yummy spells, we have the 2 Surprise, the 1 Okroki, and the 1 Minan, which is fantastic. I understand that a lot of the new lists are running a Okroki on the side or cutting a Okroki. Because it's the pure version, it's perfectly fine to run it. It doesn't really hurt in the hand, and it doesn't hurt in the actually, it especially doesn't hurt in the hand, because if something does happen to my Snatchy on field, I can discard the Okroki with the Cup C Yummy way to shuffle it back. So it works pretty nicely. And if my Snatchy does end up getting spot negated with Imperm or Veiler or Mourner or whatever, and I have a Okroki in hand, I can always just activate it and I have it ready for the next turn. So it is pretty cool. Of course, Minion is always better to see first, but for the most part, great lineup. It worked out great for me today. And then for the rest of the starters, which again, I'm considering almost all these cards to be starters except for these 4, the 2 Surprise and the 2 Field. But we have 3 Pure Ice Map, which is arguably losing the 4K right now is pretty bad because everything is a beat stick, so it hurts, but it is pretty good, right? We're just trying to get the starters in a deck full of starters and hand traps. So great card. We have the 1 Obedience Schooled, which I am running, whether or not I'm going first. It's great to see either way, it's a discard fodder or it's something to play with going second, so it's pretty good. We have the 1 Pot of Prosperity, still really good, especially right now that we're running a more widespread extra deck, which I'll show you guys in a second. For the rest of the starters, we have the 3 Engage and the 1 Hornet Drones. Fantastic cards, came up a lot today. All right, and then that would be it for the engine cards, technically, or the starters, however you guys want to say it. And then following that, we have the hand traps, which is going to be the 3 Ash, the 3 Bell, the 3 Mourner, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm, and the 1 Called By. I feel like this ratio is fantastic. I mean, 15 hand traps and a 42-ish card deck, I think it was. Feels really, really nice. The Called By, of course, is there for the we're getting hand trapped, so it's pretty good in my opinion. This felt fantastic. I actually have no complaints about it. I do like that I'm running the Imperm, the Veiler, and the Mourner over Fulos and Purge, just because I feel like spot negation is super good. The only real card I'm having trouble with is the Mourner, because a lot of cards can chain block the Mourner out of the way. So I'd much rather run something like Purge or something like Fulos. It's better counter into cards, but even if I go first, no hand trap in my hand is technically a break. So I really like that for the deck for the most part. But like I said, I'll be playtesting around without the Mourner once I have Azamina Fiendsmith fully built. But for the most part, this worked out great today. Mourner never really came up, but every other hand trap did several times, so that felt fantastic. And then that's it for the main deck right there. But for the extra deck, which I actually didn't get to organize, but the extra deck was fantastic today. I think it worked out amazing, right? So we have the 1 Cup Siami Way, Lollipop, Cookie, you guys know already, standard lineup. And then we have, of course, the 1 Yummy Snatchy. And then for the other link ones we're running to replace the other two snatchies is, of course, the one Link Karibo and then the one Amaraj, because we are normal summoning the monsters or the names a lot. And then for additional Link ones, I am running the one Link Spider. It never really came up today. Everything else came up today except for the Link Spider, which I'm totally fine with. I'd much rather not get nibbed, so I'm not going to complain at all. And then we also have the one of Kagari, which came up 2 times today, so it's pretty good. Sky Striker Engine is still pretty good. I didn't run it, if you guys remember, in episode 1 or 2, but it's good now that we lost some of the cards for the deck. And then for the rest of the Link monsters, we are running one Onari, came up 1 time. We're running one Masquerena, came up 1 time, and one SP, came up every single game, right? That's part of the end board. I am planning on changing that Masquerena for something else. I'm not too sure what at the moment, if I were to keep running, pure Yummy. But of course, like I already mentioned, this will be replaced with the Fiendsmith engine. Not the Little Knight, but at least these 2 for the most part. So those cards are pretty good, they make the deck pretty playable. And then this is where it gets funky. I'm on the 1 Starham and 1 Marcher, and y'all are gonna be like, wait up. Why are you still playing those 2 cards with no Herald? You're absolutely right. There's no reason to play these cards in any way unless you overlay into Gossip Shadow. So Gossip Shadow, I'll put up a clear image on the screen for you guys, but what this guy does is it's kind of a monster negate, which can be ashed, which is unfortunate, but what it does is when a monster effect is activated, I can respond by detaching 2 materials and change that effect to be both players draw 1 card. So it helped today, really. It felt pretty good. Only part that sucks is that 1, you can ash it, 2, it gives the opponent a draw, but the plus on that is that it also gives us a draw. So that's what I was using as part of the end board today, is making these 2. First we go into Metal Marcher, summon back whatever we use material, then we go into the Starham, and then optional Starham effect, I wasn't using it sometimes, and then after that we overlay. But for the most part, is it worth it? No, not at all. It's a lot of bodies being lost, and it could just go to like a Reaper-Docus, into Requiem and whatnot, and go from there. So for the most part, I enjoyed playing it. I don't think it'll work a second time, you know what I mean? So it was pretty good. Like I said, I beat out some pretty good decks with it, except for the Enneacraft, but for the most part, pretty fun there. And then for the last card, which never came up today, was the one of Typhon. It has come up online whenever I placed it to the deck earlier today before going to locals. It did come up 1 time, but for the most part, it didn't really come up at all. I wouldn't really run it if I had other cards to run instead of it. But like I said, I will be running Fiendsmith Yummy, which is a great deck. But for the side deck, which again, also, unfortunately, this is like unfortunate. Today was like a good / bad day. We have the 2 Gamma Seals, we have 2 Godarlas, 2 Droll, I did get to see Droll today, and 3 Nib, which I also got to see. Cards that I cited in but never got to see against some decks were Droplet and Evenly. So that was a little unfortunate. I was a little bit sad when I went up against Joseph with Enneacraft and I didn't see an Evenly or a Droplet anywhere. So that was a little unfortunate. But for the most part, that is it for the deck extra and side. Like I said, I'm not gonna do too much into it just because I'm not really focusing on the pure build. I'm focusing on the Fiendsmith build, but I will be saving that for part 2 once I actually have the cards and once I actually have everything set up nicely. But let's get back into the main video so I can show you guys a quick deck list of what I'm planning to run, and after that we should be able to call it a day. Let's get back to it. Boom. All right guys, so now that we've talked about the deck that I did take, let's see the deck that I am planning on actually running, which is pretty good in my opinion. Like I said, alright, it's a little weird. Sorry, I was trying to open up Omega. But like I said, the deck's super fun in my opinion. I've been doing pretty good online with it. I was trying out the Azamina stuff for the longest time as well, but it just didn't do too much for me. Actually, I think Omega might be crashing for me at the moment, which is totally fine. But I'll be having that deck list up on the screen. Like I said, I'll be running the Yummy Fiendsmith cards, which I just feel are pretty strong, into Dracotail, into other Yummy decks, into other Rogue decks. India Craft is questionable just because I'm still not sure how the deck works too well, but for the most part, I'm quite confident Caesar is enough of an answer. And then another big deck that's coming out is Elf Note. So there's some thinking that needs to be done regarding Elf Note and how to counter it. It's hard to counter it because I feel like it's going to be pretty popular, at least in Yuma. And that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the editing a little bit more. I tried to fix up the intro, the music, and just other key parts of the editing. So like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy everything. Please let me know if there's some changes y'all would like down in the comments. I also realized somebody said in the last comment, what's my Chipotle order? I don't even think I was wearing a Chipotle hat or anything in the last order, but thank you guys for commenting. I really appreciate that, right? I just like knowing that people are out there trying to get ideas off of what I'm doing or something like that. But for the most part, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, a question, whatever it is, even a joke. So thank you guys, and I'll have part 2 out for y'all Saturday-ish or next week, Tuesday. Like I said, these parts to these stopping Yuma might be 1 or 2 times a week, but we'll see. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. Boom!